Gus Gotze here for the Coastal Virginia Chamber of Commerce. Another exciting episode of The Wave. Tonight we have the Mayor of Suffolk, Linda Johnson, joining us, one of my favorite cities, and we have a lot to talk about. First thing that's breaking my heart before we get into COVID, the Suffolk Peanut Festival got canceled. I really despise this disease now.
Well, I despise this disease right with you. I will tell you, COVID has changed the life in a lot of ways for us. And we talk about a new normal. We really don't know what that will be. But as we move forward and as we learn more and we listen to the scientists and we do what we need to do, I really think we're going to come out in a good place. We've had lots of struggles, and we've watched, one of the things I've watched really is exciting is like our restaurants and our they've reinvented themselves. They've come up with, they're doing the curbside, they're doing the outdoors. We're pulling the seats more and more out into the little bit of the parking lots, and people are truly, they want to make those businesses work.
There were some of the innovations I saw at the different restaurants here in Hampton.
It's really amazing.
I'm skipping here a bit, but since we're talking about those restaurants, Governor Northam, came out and shut down Hampton Roads for Labor Day, which obviously everybody in Hampton Roads is disappointed in that because we rely on a big Labor Day. Your thoughts?
Well, I just think we have to look at the situation. I'm not going to second guess the governor. He has all the data that he's used here. We had Memorial Day, we had a spike. We had July 4th, we had a spike. And so, again, I think we just have to remember that this is a small moment in time as opposed to getting this thing out of the way and moving forward and getting it over with as quickly as possible. I happen to have lost my mother to COVID at the end of July, and I will tell you that
oh, bless you.
It truly does. Once it affects you, you truly do understand the depth and breadth of what it's doing to our society and our community.
And I'm not a spring chicken anymore either.
I'm not either.
Come on,
I'm right there with you, JP.
You're looking awful young to me.
No, I'm not.
Vivacious. Small business grants, lifeblood. The other mayors that I've talked to have said it's for businesses. It's money, 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 because they need that to stay afloat. What are your thoughts on that, and how can businesses get money?
Well, absolutely, and it is all about that. We do have a small grants fund we're doing through our EDA. We have got some other grants. A lot of our, a lot of our community partners are stepping in to do things. The Obacy Foundation, different groups that are coming up with innovative ways to help. Shortly said, though, there has to be help from above as well. We have to, because this has not been a short-term thing.
The big guy, we certainly like for him to step in.
We need a lot of help, and the PPP certainly was a great start, but here we are again, and no one anticipated it to be this long. I don't believe at the beginning.
Nobody. We thought it was good.
I don't think we ever thought we'd be here in September.
We were very blessed. Our very first one of these we did, Morgan Davis. Who I know is a good friend of yours. He's my best friend at the beach. And he came in and told people how to get those first initial grants. And all of our members were fortunate to say that applied for those, got those. There's a second wave of these coming. And I don't know how that's different, but you have this money with a $10,000 cap that you can give out now.
That's
one of
right.
only a few cities in the state that got it.
Well, actually, in our EDA, we early on decided that we were going to take that move. We took it through the city council early on. This is something that we really wanted to do, and we also we've had some others. We've had like a $5,000 piece at some point. So again, we just continue to look as we get our CARES Act money, as we get money perhaps that we have, there's money from the city that we hopefully will have some left because things kind of stopped in many ways. So every avenue that we can address to help the small businesses to stay afloat, because we want them there. At the end of the day, we have to have them. That's mom and pop. That's America, and we have to have those businesses.
It's the lifeblood of
America. It is the lifeblood,
when it comes down to it.
and it's heartbreaking to watch those doors close.
The COVID has affected all across the world, let alone just here in Hampton Roads. You're very fortunate to have some big distribution centers, Amazon, Target, QVC. Were those impacted adversely? Did they have to close or?
Well, of course, I think we've had
Shut-
outbreaks, throughout the communities with a lot of different places. And I will say I'm very proud that our city and all of the businesses and everyone, they worked very hard with the health department to contain and to keep things where they needed to be. And our health department has really stepped up with testing. A lot of the companies have done testing, and we continue to have free testings throughout our city, done through the hospitals. So I think with everybody working together, of course they were affected. Everyone was affected, but they have been able to maintain life and to keep going as
Stay
much
open.
as possible. Stay open, exactly.
Stay open. That's great. We got slapped on the wrist, that Fortune magazine article in Virginia Beach, and Governor Northam here in Virginia Beach. The Suffolk citizens been pretty good at following the guidelines.
I think all in all, yes. There will
All in all, I like that.
there will always be varying opinions and varying thoughts, and
Sure.
different people are going to think different ways. I, for one, watched my mother was in a home, and so I watched how strictly they kept everything going. And from March until July, they did not have a single case. So to me, it showed me that
That's a miracle.
The simplest thing, yes. But as soon as they opened a door, we had a case, and then we had a number of cases.
Was she in a retirement home?
Yes, my mother was.
It seems like that's where a lot of the nightmares.
Well,
really
truly,
happen.
you have to remember you have very vulnerable people there.
Sure.
And so, not that some of others are not vulnerable as well, but truly that is the population that I think we have to be concerned, as well as all the population, because as we're seeing now with the colleges and with all these other pieces coming to play, we really don't know a whole lot about this virus yet.
There's still a lot to learn.
There's a lot to learn.
Let's shift gears. You were in my prayers, this wonderful city, 3 weeks ago when the tornadoes hit. We got hit at the beach with a kind of a small hurricane, but we still had plenty of damage. Norfolk had a church, almost half the church torn off,
They
a
did.
historic church. You guys got hit with some hurricanes that hurt some businesses and 7 homes, I believe.
Well, we actually had 2 tornadoes to go through downtown. One was an F0, I believe, and one was an F1.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Well, to put it in perspective, in 2008, we had an F3, which was, I think you probably remember, along the Hill Point area on OBC
Oh,
Hospital.
yes, that was terrible.
That was devastating, as well as this was to those affected. We had over 100 buildings that were either damaged. I believe we had a few that were actually...
On this recent one?
Yes, we had over 100 buildings damaged. If you were to look at some of our communities downtown, we had, Riverview, Saratoga, I believe it went down further in, down Main Street. So it was a lot, and it was a lot to those people. We had a lot of trees in houses. That we're still picking up debris. We're still doing those things, but I think the message always for this is in 2008 and in this one, we had no deaths and no injuries. And that's what you pray for when you see this come through your city. That's the first thing you pray for. Is
Everything else can be replaced.
everything else can be replaced and their lives can be put back together. And this community is so wonderful about coming together and helping people put their lives together.
You guys snapped back pretty quick. I saw and read stories of everybody coming out and picking up and cleaning up and coming
Absolutely.
together, and I was so proud of Suffolk.
I've watched that throughout my whole time as mayor, that when this city has a turmoil, this city comes together and we work together and we get it back together.
Mayor Linda Johnson from surprising and exciting Suffolk, one of my favorite cities in the Commonwealth, joins us here on the Coastal Virginia Chamber of Commerce, The Wave. In the few minutes that we have left, a lot going on here is with economic concerns. Your tax base, as everybody's has, I'm sure, has been hit. How are your thoughts on that? How are you going to balance the
We
budgets?
actually have kept very close track throughout all of this. We do our COVID reports, and we have a finance committee that meets regularly. And to be honest with you, of course everyone has taken hits. But all in all, if you look at our tax base and at the monies that we've collected and where we are, we probably have fared as well as anyone could expect to have fared through this.
You still have a AAA bond rating.
We have
I
3
sound
of
like
those. We have 3 of those now.
I sound like a cheerleader for this. That's how much I love Suffolk, folks. It's really a great town. If you haven't been here lately, you need to come and visit. A lot of wonderful things going on here. What else is going on? You have city council meeting, I know, coming up. what are the pressing issues that you see
Well,
coming up?
again, COVID we will be dealing with for some time, and we know that. We're working constantly with economic development. We have Amazon that is now here in our city, and there you can see the huge building coming up out of the ground as you go through there. We are getting more of the businesses of what we call ourselves the caffeine capital of the world, food and beverage. We're getting a new company, an olive company. We have a lot of things coming throughout the area, and the folks out on 58. They believe in us to the point that they are now getting ready to do another spec warehouse at this time in our economy. So I think we're in a great place. I think we have a lot of great niches that work well for Suffolk. And on the regional, I could not be more pleased. I work with the Hampton Roads Transportation Accountability Commission. I chair it. And we're getting ready to build that HRBT. And, you know, all of the mayors, I have to say, are just a joy to work with, and we do so well together that I just think this is a great time for our region.
If we can't come together now in Hampton Roads, the 7 big cities, when can we come together? Bobby Dyer and Rick West said that you all have had
I think
very
we really
wonderful
have done
relationship.
that. I do, and I think we will continue to work together for this region to be exactly what it should be, which is a great place to come and be.
That's heartwarming. Closing thoughts as we wrap up here in the last minute or so.
Well, thank you. Thank you for doing this. You know, I think it's very important to the region to hear that, number one, we are working together, because I think sometimes people think we're not. You know, we compete in friendly ways for different things, of course. But over the message together, I think, is that as we all come together, work together, and build what the citizens of Hampton Roads deserve. And Suffolk, you know, we've grown tremendously in the last 20 years. I remember moving here when I was 12 years old, and northern Suffolk was fields and farms. And some people would tell you that was the pretty place, and it was. It was beautiful that way. But the growth and the prosperity and the future that is there is just truly amazing for us. So we're excited.
I will tell you that my favorite place to see a concert, and there's many, is right down the street here at the Suffolk Cultural Center for the Arts. If you haven't been there, it is an absolute majestic place. Mayor Linda Johnson, a great guest here on the Coastal Virginia Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, J.P. Godsey. Thank you for being with us on another edition of The Wave.